Daily message for the 24th of December of 2016, received in the city of Weed, California, United States, transmitted by Mary, Rose of Peace, to the visionary Friar Elías del Sagrado Corazón on the occasion of the Vigil of Prayer for Holy Night. The shooting star of Bethlehem. In those days when the inner preparation to receive the baby Jesus into my arms was being anticipated, the sacred star of Bethlehem, the symbol of the great brotherhood of heaven, revealed itself to the three kings that because of having pure hearts could come to our gathering in the humble stable of Bethlehem. The great star of Bethlehem shone during several days and was sent by God to accompany and at the same time to announce the arrival of the Son of God in the world. It was in this way that this sacred star that only appeared during those days began to reveal at first in dreams and in signs to some consciousnesses that by the will of God they should become aware of the arrival of the Messiah. In those days previous to the arrival of Jesus, Saint Joseph, although still being in Nazareth, heard from the angels of heaven the announcement and the exact time in which the most holy spouse should be in Bethlehem in order to give birth to the divine Son. It was in this way that the sacred star of Bethlehem also showed the place and the path which the sacred family was to travel. In those days in which the whole universe gathered to accompany and at the same time to witness the birth of Jesus, the star of Bethlehem from Nazareth had the simplest consciousness among the simple ones come to the manger, souls that were called by the Most High to lovingly accompany the arrival of the Messiah. The star of Bethlehem was that powerful, bright star that in that time worked upon the spiritual and the material plane of the planetary consciousness so that it could receive the extremely potent love wisdom, the ray that would change the events from the night till the morning. This sacred star of Bethlehem has marked a before and an after. It was radiating certain universal currents that before the coming of Christ physically modified all the human mistakes that made of the race a civilization comprised by evil. During the 9 months of the gestation of Jesus, the sacred family was prepared by the angels themselves so that this important event of the coming of Jesus could be experienced in all planes of consciousness in order that this divine event could be recorded on the planet and in the solar system. The star of Bethlehem was the guardian of the birth of Christ. And at the same time, it was the cosmic bridge that united humanity's time with celestial time. It was in this way that the Holy Mother of God, moments before the birth of Jesus, and after having been in silence during 9 days, received the divine impulse of all these revelations that the sacred star was fulfilling. The Most Holy Mary knew that the birth of the Son of God would in that moment bring to the world the liberation of the millennial errors, and at the same time the redeeming light that should, no matter what, shine on this planet. The star of Bethlehem was that cosmic beacon that drew a spiritual awakening of consciousness to the human race. That sacred star was what generated the maturity of many souls for future times. It was the great star of Bethlehem that announced the arrival of the powerful Christic energy of redemption and of love in all the inner worlds. In those days in which the planet was prepared for the coming of Jesus and was also purged of the codes of perdition of the world, the holy angels, the same ones that were at the manger of Bethlehem during the divine birth of Christ, also supported the awakening of inner love in humanity, especially in the simplest hearts. If that love just stated by the holy angels had not been born in humanity, the coming of Jesus would have necessitated other spiritual requirements. In the Star of Bethlehem was reflected the presence of the love of the Most High, as well as the grace that was being granted through the birth of Christ. Bethlehem was the scene chosen by the Father so that this event, guided by the archangels, could be carried forward under the divine perfection of love and of ceremony. The coming of the Messiah and the great liberator of the peoples was beautifully guided by the angels, who at the same time worked on the unconscious of humanity in order to be able to redeem it as from this blessed moment. The great Star of Bethlehem brought to the world the opportunity of elevating and of purifying the consciousness through elevated and not rudimentary thought by means of purposefulness. This precious Star of Bethlehem showed itself to the world in that time to gradually disintegrate the patterns of self-destruction and of a commitment to all that is mundane in the human race. The Star of Bethlehem brought the awareness that we are spirits in service to a greater purpose, capable of inspiring us to the fulfillment of the divine work. It is that very same Star of Bethlehem that in that time tried to reflect and shine in the consciousness of human beings so that they might perceive within themselves that a unique opportunity was being given through the birth of Christ. Because of this, children, after all these events that were planetary and universal, once again, humanity is facing the test of Christmas, of being able to go through this sacred date, remembering and placing their attention on all that the coming of Christ to the earth meant. The Eternal Father hopes to see Christ born inside of you all, so that a greater love than that which you experience today may awaken in the consciousness of humanity, which must fulfill and collaborate with this last part of the divine plan of love. I would wish my children to not be indifferent, but rather that they take advantage of this Christmas time to reaffirm their vows before the celestial hierarchy, because that confirmation will open the doors of consciousness to other souls in the world. On this Christmas Eve, when the sacred family is in adoration at the feet of the Nativity of Bethlehem, may all my children prostrate themselves to revere within themselves the birth of the child King in their hearts. At least do it as an offering and in devotion on behalf of those who today will become lost in banal celebrations. For your consciousness and union with this moment, dear children, I thank you for responding to my call, who under the sacred Star of Bethlehem blesses you. Your Mother Mary, Rose of Peace.